One of the things that I have seen, and I appreciate your comment about boards looking for younger people. There was a time uh, it, when everybody on a board was a white man that was retired and hadn't worked in years. And these board seats, typically you're on a board for sometimes 10 years or so. So um, there is a change, and companies, as they think about diversity, they're actually thinking about diversity of all kinds, and age being one of them. I also think that we're also seeing more and more, or let's say fewer people that are retired, more people that are actively working. I do believe CEOs, investors, all of that believe that around the boardroom, if somebody has current and relevant experience, they're arguably adding more value on that board than someone who has just hadn't worked in 10 years and is just kind of coming to the board meetings for the nice dinners and the trip to New York or wherever the meetings are. So that is good. The other thing that I think we're going to start to see more, and as Esther mentioned, CEOs and CFOs are almost always kind of on everybody's mind for board work, but we are seeing more them looking for more skills. Esther mentioned a skills matrix. They're looking at, like, do we have a diversity of expertise on the board? So some of the new things that we're seeing is cybersecurity. They want to know, they want somebody on the board that knows a little bit something about cybersecurity. Every company's, thinking about that. Digital, sustainability. If you think about, that is on a lot of companies' minds. And one of the things I'm very happy to see is people are looking at people with HR backgrounds, because these companies do what they do through people. Mm-hmm. And it's surprising how many boards have nobody on the board that has a good sense of people and culture. So all of those things are changing. These are good changes. As Esther said, we've made a lot of progress in women. I would say women and people of color have made less progress. And so, Esther, thinking about people of color, what advice maybe would you have to encourage people of color to express interest in boards, and boards to express interest in people of color, and understand that is a diversity that adds some real value? What advice would you have for people in that space?
Thanks, Beverly. Well, as I said from the start, like, you don't want to be the best kept secret. You do want to, and Beverly mentioned it, work on your value proposition and be able to have like a conversation about, one, what you bring to the table, what your skill sets and the value that you bring, and have conversations with people that you know, so that you're also asking some smart questions. There's so much happening in the boardroom that you can always pick up the conversation with a colleague, certainly somebody that ask your colleagues to introduce you to also others that are on boards. The more you're circulating, you want to be top of mind, because that director, once you're on your first board, the biggest hurdle is that first board, right, Beverly?
Yes.
Once you're on, then you start getting calls about who you might know, and or about a board opportunity, and someone will say, well, I can't take that on, but I just had a really smart conversation with Michelle. You really should get to know her, and that's really important. And there's just so much more requirements and so much more at stake. I mean, we are in a time of uncertainty. And so current executives are more at the front lines today of what is impacting the bottom line and what is impacting customers. Someone had someone in the chat about CMOs. C-suite, CMOs are C-suite. That is a skill set that brings a lot of value. So, that's important. And, continuing to have, all of those conversations and keeping top of mind what's at stake.